All right, we all here. At this time, we open it for the public hearing that we have right here. Ordinance Amendment 2020-02 by the BG Development. Dave, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Let me share this screen. It sounds to me like everybody's hungry and tired and wants to go home, so I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible for you. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. The first, of course, this is the first application. It's an ordinance amendment 2020-02. It's initiated by B and G Development. Incorporated request is for the purposes of amending Article 11, Section 11-4 of the General Business District of the Middlesex County Zoning Ordinance to allow animal crematoriums as a special exception use and add animal crematoriums to Article 22 definitions. The proposed amended zoning ordinance amendment would add animal crematoriums as special exception use in the general business district. Crematoriums are allowed as a special exception use in the light industrial and general business zoning districts. They are defined in the zoning ordinance as stated below. Crematorium, a facility excuse me, or establishment containing a furnace for the purpose of incineration of the human dead. The purpose of the general business district is intended to provide a convenient locations throughout the county areas in which commercial and compatible uses concentrate at medium to high density without adversely affecting residential, agricultural, and other compatible uses. Areas designated as GB district are to be located so as to provide convenient access to shopping facilities by the motoring public. This district is also intended to prevent the spread of strip commercial development along highways by encouraging concentration of businesses in select areas. The applicant is requesting authorization to add an animal crematorium to the current Bristow Faulkner Funeral Home. Staff noted that crematoriums were allowed in the general business district with a special exception. However, because the definition of crematoriums only references incineration of human remains, the request for an animal crematorium could not be processed. In response to that determination, the applicant is requesting a text amendment to the zoning ordinance to add animal crematoriums. If approved, animal crematoriums would be added to the zoning ordinance as a special exception use. 11-4.13. Draft amendment language is depicted in bold text and underlined below. The amendment would be listed in the ordinance as stated. And the definitions would be animal crematorium, a facility or establishment containing a furnace for the purpose of incineration of animals. Staff recommends approval of this ordinance amendment 2020-02 as submitted. Planning Commission voted 8-0 with 2 absent to recommend approval of AM 2020-02 with the recommendation that the definition be indexed under crematoriums. And that concludes my presentation, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Dave. At this time, I'm going to open the public hearing. For this, the chairman will invite each an additional person other than board members and staff attending the meeting to make a comment. Those attending the meeting with video capability will use the raise hand feature. Those request to speak. Those with audio capability will use the *9 feature on their phone, which will indicate to the moderator that you wish to speak. Use *6 to unmute your phone. Each speaker will be given his or her name, address, and for the records. Each speaker or individual will be given the opportunity to speak during the public comment period and the public hearing item. All comments and remarks will be addressed to the board supervisors, not to the audience. Speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak. At this time, Kevin, do we have anybody that wish to speak?
Mr. Chairman, we do. We have a G. Faulkner.
All right.
Go ahead with your comment, and you will have to unmute your connection. If you're joining by phone, it's okay. I think you got it.
Can you hear me? This is Greg Faulkner.
All right. How you doing, Greg?
Hey, good, good. Thank you. I just wanted to thank y'all for your consideration, and we appreciate it. If there are any questions at all, I'll certainly be happy to answer them to the best of my ability. And again, we just appreciate your consideration.
All right. Well, thank you. Kevin, do we have anybody else?
No, sir, Mr. Chair.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to close the public hearing and open it up to the board members. The board member have any questions? If not, do we have a motion for the special acceptance ordinance amendments for a crematory in the general business?
Yes, I would like to make that motion.
All right, we have a motion by Pete Mansfield. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Pete Mansfield, second by John Coons. Any more discussion? If not, roll call.
Mr. Coons,
Aye.
Mr. Mansfield,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Kimbrough,
Aye.
Mr. Jesse.
Aye. Motion so carried. I think that's it for the public hearing. At this, is that it, or do we have something else?
We actually,
We have the special
two other, we have the special exception that's,
Okay.
that goes along with that particular application. Obviously, that had to be passed before
Okay,
the
all
board
right.
could act on this particular application. And then we also have our
See,
capital improvements plan that
all right,
we'll have to
okay.
also vote on as well. So
I didn't mean to speed you up on this. Okay,
this is the second part of that application. It's the special exception 2020-05. It's again submitted by B&G Development Incorporated. The request is for approval of a special exception to allow an animal crematorium to be installed in the same structure an existing crematorium as an existing crematorium in accord with proposed article, which was just obviously passed, section 11-4.13 general business district of the Middlesex County zoning ordinance. The property for which the special exception is being requested is known as number 15 CF Edwards Lane and is further identified as tax map parcel 26B-1-73 in the Saluda district. Those are just some brief narratives just a brief narrative of the property. It's roughly 1.78 acres. Currently, existing land use is a mortuary and funeral home. Also, the new structure is currently being used as a crematorium as well. Comprehensive plan, future land use area, list this area for commercial. Surrounding land uses, Virginia Department of Transportation Office, storage yard to the east, northeast, residential to the southeast and west, and a public facility to the northwest and offices to the north. Of course, we're familiar with this property. It's right down the street. This is tax maps. The facility to be operated, I don't know if you can see my little cursor. It's
yeah, we
in this
see.
building that faces Bowden Street. And these are the current zoning maps and the future land use maps. This was submitted with the original application for the first, the board may remember, they granted a special exception for the crematorium a couple of years ago. This was submitted along with that. They added an addition onto an existing structure. And in that structure is where the current crematorium and the proposed crematorium will be located. And this is a structure, you see it blends in well with the surrounding offices and whatnot. It's a colonial style structure. It fits in well, attractive. And this is across the street. We're familiar with this as well. This is Melissa's office. If ordinance amendment 2020 is approved, animal crematoriums will be permitted by special exception in the general business zoning district per Article 11-4.13. The applicant has provided a narrative that describes the operational parameters of the request. Staff has reviewed and commented on the applicant's responses as described below. I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm going to move on. I'm just going to make a quick verbal comment. I've actually witnessed this facility in operation. The noise level would be about the equivalent of probably an HVAC system. It's very low. I've never detected any fumes or anything objectionable that would bother any adjoining property owners. Based on the analysis in the staff report, the special exception request is in substantial conformance with the requirements of the proposed section 11-4.13 and section 20-5B of the Middlesex County zoning ordinance. Staff recommends approval of the special exception 20-05 conditioned upon the following. The use shall meet the criteria of Article 11, Section 11-413 and Article 20, Section 20-5B and any other site plan, zoning, or building code requirements, and that any approvals required by any interested federal, state, or local agencies shall be made a condition. I'll note that one quick note, Mr. Faulkner has submitted a site plan, minor site plan for the where he's currently planning on putting his, there are going to be a funeral services for pets, and that site plan has been approved by staff. So in conclusion, of course, staff recommends approval. The Planning Commission voted 7-0 with 2 absent and 1 abstention to recommend approval of special exception 2020-05. And at that, Mr. Chairman, I turn it over to you.
All right, thank you. I'd like to open the public hearing. Kevin, do we have anybody that want to speak? Kevin,
Yes, Mr. Faulkner, Greg Faulkner has
you want
his
to speak
hand.
again? Okay, all right. Well, I'll go through my electronic comments again. Those attending the meeting with video capability will use the raise hand feature to request to speak. Those with audio capability will use the *9 feature on their phone, which will indicate that the moderator that you wish to speak. Use *6 to unmute your phone. Each speaker will be given his or her name and address for the record. Each speaker or individual will be given the opportunity to speak during the public comment period and the public hearing item. All comments and remarks will be addressed to the board, the supervisors, and not to the audience. The speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak. Do we have anyone that would like to speak at this time?
I think Mr. Faulkner still has his hand up. I don't know if that was from earlier.
Okay, well,
Okay, and then Ms. Reed also had her hand up.
now
And,
this, they know this is pertaining to the crematory.
and would you like for me to put the time clock up?
Right. I see Mr. Faulkner has his hand raised.
I don't know if you can hear me now, but that was an accident. My apology.
Oh, okay. Do we have anyone that would still like to speak about the crematory for pets? Okay, we don't. All right, this time I'd like to close the public comment on that public hearing on that and open it up to the board members. Do we have a motion for special exception 2020-05?
So moved.
We have a motion by John. Do we have a second?
Second,
We have a motion by John. We have a second by, was that you, Reggie?
Yeah, me and Pete, but at the same time.
All right, well, we're Reggie and Pete, and we have a motion been properly second. Is any more discussion? If not, roll call.
Mr. Coons,
Aye.
Mr. Mansfield,
aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Kimbrough,
Aye.
Mr. Jesse.
Aye. Motion so carried. All right, Dave, we got number C.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, this is the last item we have this evening for me anyway. This is our 2021-2025 update. Of course, the Middlesex County Capital Improvement Plan is strictly advisory. The plan is intended for use as a capital facilities planning document and is not a request for funding, allocations, or a county capital budget. The CIP is intended as a planning tool to assist the Board of Supervisors in the development of the county budget. Of course, I just noted that this is strictly an advisory document, and it's just to assist the Board of Supervisors in the development of the county budget. Once the CIP is adopted, individual project priorities may change throughout the course of the year. It is quite possible that a certain project may not be funded during the year indicated on the CIP or even at all. Section 15.2-2239 of the Code of Virginia assigns a responsibility of planning for capital outlay programs to local planning commissions. The code states that the local commission may, at the direction of the governing body, shall prepare and revise annually a capital improvement program based on the comprehensive plan of the county or municipality for a period not to exceed the ensuing 5 years. In accordance with the code, the CIP is to be updated on an annual basis, with individual projects removed from the plan as they are completed. This update to the capital improvements plan was developed in accordance with this section. The Planning Commission's Capital Improvement Committee met December 2nd and prioritized departmental requests as they were received. This plan is a result of this work and comes to the commission with the CIP committee's recommended prioritization. This is an update to the previously adopted capital improvement plan and contains some new projects. Staff recommends approval of FY 2021, FY 2025 capital improvement plan update. Middlesex County Planning Commission, after conducting a public hearing on December 10th, 2020, voted unanimously 7-0 with 1 abstention, 2 absent and 1 vacant to recommend approval of the capital improvements plan for fiscal year 2021-25 to the Board of Supervisors. And with that, I may be able to pull that document up if the board has some questions on it, and we can go through some of the document itself.
All right.
And that I'll turn, if the board wishes, I can.
Does the board wish to look at the documents?
Yes, I'd like to see
All
what
right,
you're talking about.
pull it up, Dave.
Yeah, let me see if I can get this out of here. I did stop sharing that screen, I believe. See if I can, bear with me a second here. All right, can everybody see that?
Yes, I see it.
Okay. All right, I can run through this quickly. We can see that some of this first part of the documents, just some introduction, just some notations on the process, definition of capital expenditures, CIP calendar. These are just preliminary documents. This is this is probably where the board's most interested, obviously, is where these projects scored. We can see that our broadband development really had a lot of interest this particular year, as did our wastewater collection system. These were thought to be high priority items. Of course, emergency services always tends to score high, and also our high school renovation was on the list. Or Deltaville Multimodal Transportation Project came in around number 9 or so. I'm just going to go through this. Does anybody have any questions on any of the projects?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't see it, Dave. Are the 4 HVAC unit replacements at Middlesex Elementary School in there for this year?
They are, Mr.
Okay.
Pete.
Thank you.
Dave, would you mind just pointing out the new items? You mentioned that there were some new items added. I think that'd be helpful.
I'll have to, that's going to be a good question because I'm going to have to go back. I'm looking.
That's the bidirectional amplifiers, I think is new because I looked that up because I had no idea what it was.
What's that? The
bidirectional amplifier.
I think that one is new. I think David Lehman just put that one in this year. I don't think administration had any new requests. Some of this is standard language. Or actually, our multimodal project was in there last year too. One project of note, Karen Reed with Parks and Recreation added a project. There's a little park that she would like to have. She's proposing in Cook's Corner. So that is a new project.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Dave, because I was getting ready to chime in and point that one out. That's kind of a placeholder. We really don't know how much that project is going to be because it hasn't been fleshed out completely yet. But we wanted to get something in the plan to kind of act as a placeholder.
What is the amount in the placeholder?
For starters, we just used $70,000.
Thank you.
And just an observation, Dave, can you scroll back up to the top?
Sure.
Are you telling me that the CIP committee rated wireless broadband higher than sewer for the first time in 20 years on the capital improvements plan? Sewer's been unthroned as the ranking champion. Is that right?
It certainly looks that way. There was a few folks that were very strongly in favor of trying to enhance broadband. So there were a couple members that really boosted that up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm satisfied that's Kevin Gentry's influence on them.
Is that a misnomer that they're calling it wireless and they really just mean broadband in general, or we don't know?
John, I think this is we've just kept the term in there. I guess as time goes on, that definition or what we're actually defining will probably morph and change a little bit, but that's been in there for a few years, and I didn't change the terminology. It's a whole.
I would argue wireless is a misnomer. It's broadband in general, and we're pursuing all and every opportunity as they come, but it's not necessarily exclusively wireless. But that's probably me cutting hairs or splitting hairs.
Well, all kidding aside, it's understandable given the pandemic and everyone working from home and in need of internet, and especially in the upper part of the county. So completely understandable.
I would even say, Matt, there's no kidding to put aside. I think broadband is appropriately a top priority.
Definitely, that's true. So true. Right. Anybody got any more questions?
Mr. Chairman, I do believe we have to hold a public hearing on this.
I'm going to open that up. I'm waiting for you to finish, finish up, and then I'm getting ready to open it up. That's why
I have no other comments if there's no other questions.
Not okay. All right. So at this time, I would like to open up the public hearing on the capital CIP project. All right. Those attending the meeting with video capability will use the raise hand feature to request to speak. Those with audio capability will use the *9 feature on their phone, which will indicate that the moderator that you wish to speak. Use *6 to unmute your phone. Each speaker will be given his or her name and address for the records. Each speaker or individual will be given the opportunity to speak during a public hearing item. All comments and remarks will be addressed to the Board of Supervisors, not the audience. Speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak. So at this time, Kevin, do we have anybody that would like to speak on the CIP plan?
We
The
have
capital county, Middlesex County Capital Improvement Plan.
Yeah, I don't see any hands raised at this time.
All right, so well, if you don't see any hands, I'd like to close the public hearing on the CIP plan and open it up to the board. And if they don't have any questions, do we have a motion to approve the FY 2021-2025 capital improvement plan?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask one question on it. I see a $3 million, this isn't until 2025, but a $3 million cost to realign the runway. It was my understanding it was going to cost us damn near nothing.
Right, well, yeah, okay, but they can make that, but you know that this is always a plan, so. And things can be.
I understand that.
Right, but yeah, that probably can be corrected.
I think that these figures reflect the total investment in the capital, regardless of what the funding is, Pete. And I say that because, for example, the multimodal pathway, we've got a grant for $800,000, but that's in here at $1 million, which is the gross amount. So I think that the runway realignment might in fact be $3 million, but that doesn't reflect what the county is going to have to pay.
Can we get Matt or Dave to clarify that or confirm that?
Yeah, I can chime in on that, John. That's what Lud said is correct. In short, I'll just add to this. If the P3 project moves forward, that project is probably going to be removed from the capital improvements plan and replaced with the P3 project that's the result of the comprehensive agreement yet to be negotiated. That's the best way I could say it. So it's there. I hate to use the term placeholder, but it's yet another placeholder for a project, just so we know it's looming, that for whatever reason, if the P3 project did not move forward, then that's still on the capital improvements plan and probably needed.
And similarly, I was debating whether the school buses at $100,000 a year, if that's what it's still showing, is actually going to be accurate. But I think it's still a worthy placeholder, even if we're procuring different buses in a different manner. It's we won't know until there's legislation passed this year whether we're going to have further opportunities to clean our fleet. But again, it's a placeholder, and I think it's as good as we have for right now.
Well, John, Dr. Pete actually removed that one from the CIP this year, the school buses.
Entirely?
Mm-hmm.
Did he remove it entirely?
Yes. It was not in the
I think
request.
I think that's an error.
Yeah, John, if my memory serves, I think I understand why. Because didn't we pre-buy a couple of buses last year?
We did, but historically we always had 100,000 a year because that's roughly the cost of the diesel to us. And what we did last year is we bought 2 buses because there were 2 available in electric, and we still paid a little over 100 because they had to come with seat belts, and we went ahead and bought 2. But 2 years out from now, we're going to be needing another new bus to replace an old diesel, and we don't know whether the Dominion program is going to pass in the House of Delegates and the Senate and be signed into law later this year. But either way, we're going to be spending roughly $100,000 a year, whether it's electric or diesel, in the same manner that we were before this pilot program got us 2 buses for last year and next year. So I think that's an error to remove that CIP, because we've always had to buy buses, no matter whether we're buying electric with a grant or diesel normally.
Well, I guess we can take it up when the board meets with the school board and chats up their budget requests and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hold us up. I'm saying that should be something we put on our agenda to just make sure we're all on the same page, that we don't magically have free buses for perpetuity.
All right, would anybody got any more questions? If not, do we have a motion again for the 2020-2025 capital improvement plan for Middlesex County?
So moved.
We have a motion by Lud. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Lud, probably a second by Reggie. Any more discussion? If not, roll call.
Mr. Coons,
Aye.
Mr. Mansfield,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Kimbrough,
Aye.
Mr. Jesse.
Aye. Motion so carried. All right, the last thing on our agenda is, I just had it there, everything here, is our public comment period. At the end of before we adjourn and talk about everything else. The chairman will invite each an additional person other than board members and staff attending the meeting to make a comment. Those attending the meeting with video capability will use the raise hand feature to request to speak. Those with audio capability will use the *9 feature on their phone, which will indicate that the moderator that you wish to speak. Use *6 to unmute your phone. Each speaker will be given his or her name and address for the record. Each speaker or individual will be given the opportunity to speak during the public comment period and public hearings item. All comments and remarks will be addressed to the board supervisor and not the audience. Speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak. Kevin, do we have anyone that wishes to speak at the public comment period?
Yes, we do, Mr. Chairman.
All righty.
Okay, Ms. Reed, you're good.
Hi there, Board of Supervisors. It's Penny Reed again, 208 Lord Mott Road, Urbana, Virginia, 23175. Am I still being? Oh, okay. I spoke to you guys earlier in reference to a situation that took place at the Urbana post office. As you all know, or if you don't know, we don't have mailboxes in our yard. Therefore, we have to go to the post office to pick up our mail. I recently applied for credit cards in lieu of the pandemic, in lieu of owning a small business in town, and it's been slow, in lieu of Christmas, and the postmaster took it upon herself to send these credit cards back because they had the address 208 Lord Mott Road on them. If any of you have applied for credit cards, you do know that you cannot use post office boxes when applying for them, for some of them. In this case, the two that I applied for, I could not use a post office box and had to use my physical address. They were sent back. I waited and waited for these credit cards, never came. I called the companies and they said that they were returned to sender. I took it upon myself to call other postmasters within the surrounding areas, and four of them, all four of the postmasters said that the mail, those letters should have been put in my post office box, but they weren't. When I called and spoke to the postmaster to inquire about why they weren't, and she said because they didn't have my PO box number on them. However, she put Christmas cards that were addressed to 208 in our box and scratched through 985. So that concerns me. And my question is, how do we go about getting mailboxes put in our neighborhood? Because as far as I'm concerned, this hasn't been the first time that she's done this. She has done this when we first moved here, and we had a conversation. The postmaster is rude. I'm just going to say it straight out. There has been several complaints about her. Me, mainly, I have a degree in human resources, master in psychology, and I know good customer service. And when you go to that post office, it is not good customer service. That post office represents us in Middlesex County. There have been several people to come in our store who has boats and who comes to town, who goes there to pick up their mail, who has come to our store and complained about the same stuff that I'm complaining to, and I'm a resident in the county. So my question is, how do we go about getting mailboxes put in our yard so that we can remedy this situation of her sending our mail back if it doesn't have our physical address on it? Because this is unacceptable. She knows who we are. She knows who I am. She knows that our post office box is 985 belongs to 208 Lord Mott Road. Unacceptable. Thank you guys very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Kevin, we got anybody else?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman. That's the only one.
All right, at this time, I'd like to close the public comment period. And I was just gonna go let you know about the upcoming meetings. Friday, January the 8th, at 9:30 a.m., we have a board work session. Is that, and then Tuesday, I guess it's gonna be tentative, or these definitely, Tuesday, February the 2nd, at 9:30 is a budget kickoff meeting, and then Tuesday, February the 2nd, tentatively, okay, for the board regular meeting, okay. All right, so that will be probably during our regular board meeting, we'll come in early. All right, if all minds are clear, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion by John Coons. Do we have a second?
Second,
We have a motion by John Coons and a second by Pete, probably second by Pete Mansfield. At this time, roll call.
Mr. Coons,
Aye.
Mr. Mansfield,
aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Kimbrough,
Aye.
Mr. Jesse.
Aye. And good night, everyone. And John, you be safe driving home, buddy.
Good night.
Thanks and Happy New Year, everybody.